Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Soul Talks. It's 11:11. I think it might be even a little later. I'll tell you one thing I've definitely learned is that being on time is quite a remarkable task for this girl. So having the awareness of timing has been definitely something I've been working on, and noticing that when set times like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock, so different than when you set a time like 2:22 or 11:11. It's really creates massive, good morning, massive awareness of your time and your space. So I've really had a great time, no pun intended, playing with time. God. Okay, so I'm just going to give everyone a couple minutes to tune in, and I'm excited to see some of you already there. Hello, good morning. It's Sunday. It's a beautiful morning here in San Diego. I'm not sure where you guys are all tuning in from. Tell me where you're coming in from. So I see some of you already saying hello. Hello back. It's so hard to get these waves in and reach. But I do want you to know that if I don't hit that button, I see you, and I'm so excited that you're here with me and tuning into this morning's Soul Talk. So keep it coming, and great to have you here. Like I said, we're just going to give it a couple more minutes to just let everybody chime in, and we'll get things ready. Hopefully you're having a great morning wherever you are. I would love to hear from where you guys are waving to me from. So tell me, where are you from? Hit me in the comments. Let's see where everyone's chiming in from. One of the things that I wanted to just create awareness for today is mind chatter, and the different things that kind of run around in our head and seek salvage from time to time based on what we are feeling, and how those feelings are generating more and more of that chatter. And sometimes the chatter is really good, and sometimes that chatter is really inspiring and innovative, and sets fire to some incredible things that happen in our life. And sometimes that chatter can really feed anxiety and fears, and set the tone for our days, and launch us in one direction or another. So before we get started today, I would love to create some intention, and to just bring everyone into this very moment, and allow for a little mindful meditation, just to draw our energy into our minds and our hearts collectively. So take a breath with me, close your eyes, and let's set the tone, setting the tone with intention, and allowing ourselves to clear the mind of any mind chatter, so that we can find our way into our hearts and feel fully present with all that is. Breathing in nice and easy, feeling all of the sensations that float and swirl and become as we breathe through our five senses, softening through the shoulders and melting a little more into our hearts. Allowing the thoughts to now just dissolve, and allowing this present moment to become more and more full of light and our divine source, providing us with the protection of all energies, so that we can feel safe to vibrate high in the light, and to be here and now. Breathing into what is, and allowing the downloads from our angels and ascended masters. Breathing into the light of love within God that is in our hearts and yours. And feeling the peace that comes with being in that space. Take a nice deep breath in and slowly exhale, opening your eyes and feeling more and more present in this moment. That always makes such a difference for me. No matter where I am in a day, in a week, in an energy, in an emotion, when I close my eyes and I just draw it in, it really changes how I'm feeling. It helps me find my way to a more grounded state. It always helps me create a little sense of space in between what it is I'm feeling or where I'm at. And in addition, it provides me an opportunity to be present versus in my thoughts of the past, or maybe some tension and anxiety of what I'm anticipating for the future. So I encourage everyone to just take those little timeouts just to kind of tune into themselves and feel a little more grounded, a little more at peace with what is. And you know, meditation is not religion bearing. No matter what your religion is or what your belief system is, you can always tune out and tune into yourself. And if you are faith-based and you have a specific belief system that really feels in alignment with you, I encourage you in those moments to just draw into that space that feels good and ground in from there. Meditation is not necessarily a right or wrong practice. It's what feels right for you. So what could feel right for me or someone else might not for you. And there's lots of different ways that you can practice being mindful and creating that mindful meditative practice for yourself. As you can see just at the beginning of this feed, how really simple it was for me to just close my eyes and drop within to a place that kind of released everything that was going around me and gave me an opportunity to just mindfully draw in perspective within myself, a perspective that wasn't held by judgment or emotion, but rather just the vibration of this very moment. And so when we drop in a meditation, I want you to just really appreciate how simple it can be. It doesn't have to be, a long experience. It can really just be for a couple minutes. It can be as long as you want, obviously, but just know that any moment that you take to just close your eyes and breathe within is a timeless moment that will give you so much reward in balance, in peace, and in serenity. And like I had said, when I was developing the topic for today's chat, it was under the premise of mind chatter and the thoughts that kind of roam around in our head and that come and go throughout the day and without really any notice. And one thing that I have really found in my practice is that when I am doing things that I'm fully present in, it really reduces the amount of mind chatter that is kind of swarming around in my head. So some of the things that I want to share with you today are along the premise of meditation and service, and how the power of positivity can really create a lot of balance and grounding in between those spaces of swarming and swirling mind chatter. So I would like to share with you this book that I just adore. It's called The Healing Path of Yoga by a beautiful, beautiful woman called Nishala Joy Devi. And I had the the great pleasure of sitting in on some of her talks when I was a young girl learning to become a yoga teacher and a Reiki healer. And I remember just being in her presence and saying, right away, wow, that is definitely someone that I would like to be like. She had that much of an influence on me. She was a very heart-based and loving woman, and she spoke about her healing path and how one of the most profound experiences that she experiences is when a heart is broken, how it affects one's immunity, one's emotional perspective, their balance, and their serenity. But when a heart is healing and a heart is open and a heart is feeling the emotion of love, how profound that energy can be in one's life. And she shared many ways of practice that she had with her clients over her lifetime that she spent working with hearts and creating healing hearts that really, just exuded such grand spaces of love. And one of the things that I really have been noticing is in my 30 days of wellness, something that I felt really intuitively driven and compelled to offer was that being in the act of service, like always for me, puts me right into the present moment. And, first and foremost, one of the things that I love to do is to share what I love and to share how amazing being a yoga teacher, a life coach, a personal trainer, a mom, Miss West Coast, a doula, sharing how all of these life experiences, how they just open my heart and how they give me and share that in that process of what's giving me, what's happening, and how that is affecting my life. And I share that with you because I really feel that it's an infectious lesson in love and in enlightenment and in healing. First and foremost, I may show face of this smiling woman that is always talking about positivity and all these great ways to be positive and just do yoga or this, that, or whatever. And it might, come across as just this overly positive person that just, lives in La La Land maybe. Or maybe that's a story going on in my head. Maybe that's my mind chatter that just seeped through, right? So I interject that because that's kind of how it happens. Thoughts come in and they implode and intersect with other thoughts. That's the mind chatter. But the awareness of having it can really take effect when we go, oh, there that is, and we hold space. So in my return back to my original intention, which was to share why I do what I do and why I really feel that it has this infectious way on my heart in serving and healing, is because I hope that it perhaps kind of ignites or triggers or inspires you to find those spaces within you that do the same. So for me, when I teach, it really allows me to feel fully present and supportive of another person. And one thing that I'd like to just share with you, there's something from this book called Hands in Service. All right? So I'm just going to read from you a little bit from my book, and then we'll go on to chat about this. Again, and I'm reading from this great book, The Healing Path of Yoga by Nishala Joy Devi. She writes, "The hand in service. All the great religions and spiritual systems of the world tell us that when we offer service to those less fortunate, we purify our hearts. When our hearts are pure, we know who we really are. When our hearts are pure, we know who we really are. The Bible says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall know God." In the West, yoga is best known as Hatha yoga, the physical aspect. Karma yoga is the service, and bhakti yoga is the devotion. Okay, so there's 3 types of yoga, right? There is Hatha yoga, which is the movement, like when we're doing downward dog or child's pose, right? And then there's karma yoga, the things that we do in service that we're talking about that really provides us an opportunity to be in our heart and give to someone that needs support. And then bhakti yoga, which is the devotion, okay? The bhakti yoga is the devotion, which are the most commonly formed practice of yoga in most parts of the world. When we are practiced together, they form a team of the head, the hand, and the heart. Karma means action, the law of action and reaction. As you sow, and so you shall reap. Another example from the Bible. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth seems to also explain karma. But as Martin Luther King so eloquently put, if we keep that up, we will all be blind and toothless. Whether we believe in it or not, we are all bound up in karma. Sometimes we see the results directly, sometimes indirectly, or not at all. Many of us like to take credit for the good karma and blame the bad karma on others, or use the word luck. Sometimes we attribute good and bad luck to a higher power. If that deal came through with ease, it would be luck, rather than the goodness we just attracted. So I want to just kind of take a break there for a moment and share with you what I've been experiencing in, I'll just take this last week of being in service, but really for quite a while. Kind of back to what I was saying, although I might be this positive, woman that is always putting out a message or, talking about this yoga stuff or all this gushy love from my heart, I'll tell you, it makes all the difference. And the imagery that I create within my own space through the power of yoga, and the experience that I'm experiencing through the power of karma and service, and the joy that I'm experiencing from being in the action of my asana, is changing the way I think. It's changing my mind chatter. It's changing how I vibrate, how I'm aware. It doesn't mean I'm perfect. It doesn't mean I'm happy all the time. It doesn't mean that I'm smiling all the time. But there are tools that I'm able to use that provide me that interchange when I'm aware of some thoughts or emotions that don't necessarily feel good. There was a time in my life when I had some really groundbreaking life experiences that brought me to my knees and just, threw me a loop, things that have happened in my life that have hurt me, things that have happened in my life that have destroyed the things that I've built, things that have happened in my life that I've had to rebuild and recreate and recover from and overcome, things that have happened in my life that I've had to hold space with and stand in and know that I was enough, and know and believe in faith that I could make it through or continue. Even in this moment, as I speak and I share with you, there are things in my life that have happened that could disturb this peace and this accessibility to think that I could share this with you and that it would have some value. It is through service, it is through the love that I share and I give and I radiate from within. It is through my faith. It is through the knowing, the places of knowing, that I am able to transmute what has happened from my past into today's experience of now, and to transmute those mind-shattering thoughts that might come through that take me out of alignment and keep me in my heart. So this week for me, being on quarantine, there were many opportunities to probably, I don't know, clean my closets, or paint some walls, or work on some projects, or just kind of sit in my own thoughts. And I certainly could have gone those routes. Many of those things might have just been service to my home or my family. And my calling and something that came through very intuitively was, I'm going to serve. I'm going to serve by being the teacher that I am, and to give, free doses of mindfulness and classes throughout the week that could potentially support someone's day. And in doing that, each and every day I showed up and taught a variety of classes and gave spaces from my heart that I didn't even know were there. And what I found myself was inspired. I found myself triggered in such positivity because my heart was in such a giving space. And so I share that with you, not to necessarily be like, look at me, look what I'm doing, but to, see, those are the mind shatters, but to share with you how capable we all are of being in service, how capable we all are, even during quarantine, even during these times, to help and support each other. Social media is such a great platform for sharing how we feel and to sharing what's going on with our lives. There's some things out there that aren't necessarily super positive. There's a lot of rants. There's a lot of energies that don't necessarily feel good when I'm scrolling through. And so I challenge you, I invite you to maybe take a look at what it is that you are able to put out there. And maybe, today take note of what it is that is your superpower, your gift. For me it was being a teacher and being someone that loves being in their heart. But what is it that you are really good at? What is it that you can offer to support others? And maybe, share that via our social media posts. Maybe call a friend or a family member, or drop off something, anonymous to your neighbors. I mean, this week on through the feeds, I saw 2 random acts of kindness. I mean, I saw many, but 2 that stick out right away. One, a friend had posted how another friend dropped off some flowers and a heartfelt note to her home, and it made all the difference in her day. And I just thought, oh, that's awesome. That's so awesome, because we could so very well be just imploded within, oh, I'm stuck inside, and oh, I can't do this, and oh, I can't do this. But instead, it really was nice seeing that another person had just cared about her friend and just went and did a random act of kindness. And then when that friend received that, it felt good, and it changed the direction of her day. And chances are she was able to give that sense and sensitivity of love to someone else. So things like that. I saw a picture of another friend that put cookies on her fence for her neighbor, and I thought, oh my God, that's so sweet. A fellow queen of mine, Miss Santa Monica, she found a pattern to make masks, and was busy working on figuring out how to make these masks so that she could drop them off to the hospitals. And there's just people doing some amazing things with their time. And I just want to encourage you that, while it's so important to take care of ourselves and to be in the action of being and having that awareness for ourselves, one of the most beautiful and beneficial things that comes out of us from self-care and self-awareness and having that value and appreciation for ourselves is the sense of knowing what we're capable of doing, knowing what our value does when we give that in service to others. So the reason why I share with you this powerful book that I would love for you to take into your own hearts and read is because still to this day, and it's been over a decade since I've read this book. It's been over a decade since I sat in this lecture with Nishala and just gained all of her heart space and her joy. But even today in my life, it has such great value because it really inspires me to be in that service and to know that, you know, I might not be a great tap dancer, but I'm a great yoga teacher or a great coach and a great mom. And those are ways that I can create service in my life to others. You know, just part of being a doula, you know, it's love. It's holding space for another and helping them move through a time in their life that could potentially be challenging and extraordinary all at the same time. And I think right now, you know, we are giving birth to a lot of amazing things through this quarantine. And it's so important that we all find it within ourselves to hold space for ourselves, love ourselves, and take good care of ourselves right now. Because it is in those moments that we can open up and provide that service of wellness and well-being through our hearts, through the love that we have in service to each other. And be in that action of being, because it's when we find those moments that we can feel the balance and the rhythm and the being and the connectivity with all others. And that, I think, is, you know, probably the most challenging thing for us right now, is that being in quarantine and having this social distancing and still creating that connectivity, right? Well, no better way to connect with others than being in the act of service. And now more than ever, like I said, we really need to find ways to put out that positivity, to be a very extraordinary positive vibration to our world in any way that we can, and find the way in which we can do that through our own unique space and share that with others, and to do that in the best way that we can under these circumstances. So I wanted to just finish with you a little something more from my book today, and it speaks to the softness or the harshness of our speech and how that reflects on us all and the wellness of others. Okay? When you keep the mind calm by having 4 qualities to your speech. Tranquil in tone and volume, without urgency or panic, having a soothing effect on others. To speak in a velvet tongue. Truthful, so the heart is not blocked by confusing contradictions. Saying and meaning the same thing. To speak with a straight tongue. Pleasant. The words uplift with an optimistic flow. We may even know some people who can say almost anything, even unpleasant things, and it never is taken as hurtful. Beneficial. Allow the words to have some positive effect. This could be as simple as wishing someone a good morning. Verbal abuse is a form of negative imagery, the opposite of affirmations. When someone is told they are stupid or ugly, they will never amount to anything, these words form a deep image on the mind that is difficult to erase, even long after the words have been proven wrong. They still might shatter. in our minds. We all have such powerful energy within us. The things that we say start here before they go here. So I invite you today to be mindful of what's chattering, to take little time outs when you need them, even if it's just for a moment to close your eyes and drop in within yourself. Because when we're in our hearts, not only are we serving from a place of love, but we have so much more to offer. And when we are in service within our heart, our words, they sound different. They're truthful. They're pleasant. They're beneficial. And they're tranquil. So today, my act of kindness, my words of service, my heart that opens in this space of vulnerability is to influence and inspire and infect you with a virus of love. And to take time, as much time as you need to be in your heart and to share your beautiful heart, however best you can, in service with love. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. And I wish you so much peace and so much love always. Have a beautiful day. From my heart to yours, namaste.